All right, 6.4, part 2. The next part says, on the next page, functions are represented in different ways, A through L. Compare and contrast. Compare means how are they similar. Contrast means how are they different. The function rules. Tables, graphs, and situations. There's our 4 ways again. You're going to see these 4 ways a lot. Tables, graphs, rules, and English word situations. Okay? So we have to sort the representations into 6 pairs that show representations of the same functional relationship. What this means is that we have to pair up a graph with a rule, a table with a graph, or whatever it is. Uganda, you with me? So here's what we need to do. Write your answers for matching pairs of functional relationships in the first column in the table below. In the second column, provide a convincing explanation. Remember when we talked about those 8 mathematical behaviors we need to have? One of those was be able to back up what you're saying with some evidence. Katie, you with me? So here's what we've got on the next page that we've got to match up. We've got A through L all the way down. We've got to create, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 pairs that we have to match up. Okay? And we've got to match up whatever they come up with. So let's take a look at what we have. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. We have y equals 2x minus 1. If we had to make a table of these guys, and we plugged in a 0, a 1, and a 2. If I plugged in a 0, I'd do 0 times 2, which is 0, minus 1's negative 1. If I plugged in a 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. If I plugged in a 2, 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. So let's immediately take a look at these tables and see if we can find if one of the tables matches up. So we're looking for 0, negative 1, 1 and 1, 2 and 3. 2 and 3. So I have 0, negative 1 here, 1 and 1, 2 and 3. So A and I go ahead and match up. Now it's really important that you guys are watching this because you're going to have to do this both on the upcoming unit test, your EOC, and the one that the state of Florida is going to make us take on Friday. So we've got A and I matching up here. So go ahead and we've got matching pairs A and I. So my evidence is I created a table and matched them up. You're going to be very glad that you paid attention to this come test time. So we've got A and I done. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one. We've got 1.5x. So we've got x and y. Let's plug in a 0, a 1, and a 2. If I plug in a 0, 1 times 5, or sorry, 1.5 times 0 is 0. Plug in a 1. 1.5 times 1 is 1.5. Plug in a 2. 2 times 1.5 is, in your calculator, 3. So let's see with the tables that are still remaining if we have the same matches in any of our tables. Well, I look right here, it's supposed to be 0, 0, so that's not it. This one's 0, 50, not 0, 0. And this one's 0, 0. The next match we're supposed to have is 1 and 1.5. Well, I've got 1 and 20, so that's not it. So we know that G doesn't match up with any of our tables. So it's either got to match up with our graph, Katie, or one of our relationships. So let's see if we can do the graphs. This graph, if this matches up, should have a point at 0, 0. Look at that. No 0, 0, not a match. This guy does have a point at 0, 0. So let's see if it has a point at, let's say, 2, 3. So here's 2, and 3 would be right here. Not a match. So it's not one of our graphs, so it's got to be one of our word problems. Either the plant was growing at a rate of 1.5 inches per week, or the math club found a company that will sell t-shirts for $5 each, and there's a setup of $50. Well, out of those two, which one makes more sense for this one? Obviously C. So you've got G and C matching up. So let's go ahead and write that on our answer sheet. We've got G and C, and we've got to create some good evidence for this. And so what I did was, my explanation is, it did not match with any table or a graph, and so it had to match up with one of the word problems. Okay, so it did not match up with any table or graph, so we had to match it up with one of the word problems. The word problem with 1.5 made the most sense. All right, so we're slowly getting rid of these. So this guy's gone, this guy's gone, this guy's gone, and I is gone. So let's take a look at our graph. Let's list out some points that are here. So wherever you see that it crosses the little dotted lines in the back, make a nice big dot. And let's see what these are. This is 0, 1. When my x is 1, my y is 1, 2, 3. When my x is 3, my y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3, 7. Let's see if this matches up with any of our tables. So we've got 0, 1, 1, 3. 0, 1, no, that doesn't work. 0, 1, no. 0, 0, no. So it's not working with any of those. Does it make sense that these points would match up with the math club found a company that will sell t-shirts for $5 each, and there's a setup fee of $50? Doesn't really make sense for that one either. So let's go ahead and skip that one. We haven't found a match for that, so let's go ahead and skip that one and go to the next one. So let's list out the x and y's for this one. When my x is 1, my y is 20. Well, if I went up by 1 here, I got to go up by 1 here, and it's a 2. When my x is 2, let's see, if this is 20, that means we're going up by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So when my x is 2, my y is 40. When my x is 3, my y is 60. So let's see if that matches up. We've got 120, 240. We'll look here, 120, 240. So K and H match up. So let's write that on our answer sheet. K and H, the table matches the points on the graph. The table matches the points on the graph. That's pretty good evidence. If those points match up with the points in the graph, I've got some pretty good evidence on that. All right, so now H is gone and K is gone. So we're almost there, guys. Few more. All right, so we still got this one left, but we're going to leave that one alone because we can't find a match for it. So let's take a look at, let's go ahead and take a look at J. The math club found a company that will sell t-shirts for $5 each, but there's a setup fee of $50. Well, let's see. If we do the number of shirts here, and we do the total cost here, let's plug in and see how much some of these t-shirts would make. So if I buy 0 t-shirts from these guys, Karina, I've still got to pay that $50 setup fee, so it's still going to cost me $50. If I buy 1 shirt for them, I've got 1 shirt at $5 plus the $50 setup fee. Well, that's $55. If I buy 2 shirts, I've got 2 shirts times $5 a piece plus my $50 setup fee. Well, 2 times 5 is 10, plus 50 is 60. Let's try one more. If I have 3 shirts at $5 each, that's 15, plus the $50 setup charge. So 15 plus 50 is 65. Does this match up with either of the tables that we've got left? Well, 0, 50, 155, 260. So J and E go together. So let's write that on our answer sheet. We've got J and E because their points match up. Because their points match up. All right, so now we've got this one gone, and we've got this one gone. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more boxes to go. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this one. Remember what I told you guys about? This was a TTK probably on Wednesday, I think it was. If you look at your Y column and every single one of your Y's is exactly the same, Jermaine, that means that your rule is automatically Y equals 1.5. That means automatically your rule is Y equals 1.5. Doesn't matter what you put in for X, Y is always going to be 1.5. So D and L automatically go together. So we've got D and L and Y because the rules are the same. And finally, I know F and B match up. They're the only ones left. So F and B. Because they're the only ones, they are the only ones left. Again, this is incredibly, incredibly important to know because you're going to have to do this on your test. So if you need to pause this, rewind it, or come in after school, just let me know.